guys, it's Lindsay here with Pilates on Demand. Today we are going to be doing a beginner Pilates workout with a blanket. So I have this lovely pink and purple yoga blanket. If you don't have a yoga blanket, you can use a blanket from your bed, or a towel will work quite great. The blanket is going to help us if you have sensitivity in your low back and your neck. That will be our focus today for using the blanket as our prop. So we're going to get started seated on the blanket. Now, the higher up the blanket, the more times you fold it or the more blankets you stack, the more of a lift it's going to give you. So this first stage is just sitting crisscross applesauce on the blanket. So you're propped up and I'm sitting near the front edge. And what it's going to do is take us out of this really rounded shape in our back. It's going to help our posture. So you're simply just going to try to really lift up here as much as you can and tighten your core. If you don't know what tightening your core feels like, it kind of feels like someone's just about to jump at you and you brace your body. That's the sensation in your abs. So close your eyes, imagine someone's about to just pounce on you and you kind of just brace the whole body. So find that work in the core, but relax the shoulders. No one's actually about to attack you. So finding that nice tall posture. If you're still scooped and dumping in the low back, add another blanket or fold the blanket underneath your hips up even more. And then we're going to just take the hands behind the head. I'm going to show this from the front and from the side. So we'll go into some extension and flexion of the spine. Your goal is to keep your lower half of your back still. So from here, we're going to lift as tall as we can and round our chest, but not let our low back sink. And then keeping the low back still, think of your chest moving straight up towards the ceiling without throwing your head back. So sometimes when we do back bends, people really throw their head back here, and that compresses the neck. That actually is going to create issues rather than help open up the posture. So here we go. Lift as tall as you can and round your upper back, but keep your lower back straight. And then restack your back and lead with your chest rather than your head. Send your chest up towards your chin and the ceiling. Just gently lean your head into your hands without pressing it back. And then come back through center, keeping up the same movement I'm going to show you from the side. So you'll breathe out. Notice my low back, how it stays really tall. Round the chest, over the ribs. So you feel the muscles in the back spread. And then the muscles in the back relax down. And we lift. So think of the sides of your spine being pulled up. Gently lean the head back and lead with the heart. And notice I haven't led with my low back. So I haven't gone into a back bend here and put any pressure in that low back. So your tailbone should be rooted. You shouldn't get light in your butt when you go into that back bend. Let's do one more. So breathe out and round. Lift tall, low back stays still, lead with your chest. Think of just getting as tall as possible here. Relax the head, relax the shoulders, and then come back through center. Okay, we'll take side bends here. So I'll show you from the side profile to start. I have a lot of this, how the ribs kind of pop out. So what I want you to do is pull your ribs into your body. So if that's you, that's going to be a good cue for you. Pull your ribs into the body. Imagine your back's against a wall and go over to your left side without bending forward or back. You're moving directly over to the left. Your right elbow is up, your right hip hasn't lifted. And then we'll come back through center. We'll go directly over to the right side. So when you go into the side bend, your nose and your belly button still point straight forward. And then exhale back through center. Lifting up nice and tall, pulling the rib cage in. Stretch over to your left without your right hip leaving the floor. Good. Exhale, come through center. Stretch over to the right without the left hip leaving the floor. And exhale through center. So we'll keep this going. Let's look at it from the front. Inhale up and over to the left. Good. As you can see, I'm trying to relax the shoulders and gently press the head straight back into the hands. So not so much so that the chin leaves the chest, but that the back of the head moves straight back into the hands. Inhale, up and over to the right. Left hip down, left elbow up. This is called lateral flexion of your spine. This is side bending. So 1, it's good for mobility of your back. And 2, it is going to help stretch certain areas. This is going to be stretching some of your tricep, your lat, your obliques. Come back through center. 1 more. Let's take it to the right. Breathe in. Good. This definitely requires core strength to not let the pelvis tip and pull yourself back to center. Okay, let's take this into twisting. So facing you straight on, look right here at my hips. There's going to be no movement, and that's your goal as well. So we don't want to be like twisting around in the hips at all. Just completely still. Hands are behind the head, soft shoulders. Turn your head, neck, and chest over to the right. Just your upper body. And then come back through center. Turn your head, neck, and chest over to the left. And come back to center. Now, where the movement is coming from is the middle of your body around your waist. If you feel like you can't go very far without moving your hips, then make it smaller. I absolutely don't care how big it is. Maybe you only come here, but you haven't moved your hip to help you. And then that's true thoracic rotation. If you move your hips to help you, you're not using the area we're trying to work. We're not twisting from the middle of the back. And we rotate over to the left, and we come back to center. Okay, so think if you can think about what we talked about, how you're bracing your core and you're pulling your ribs in. So keep this nice and flat, nice and tight. Breathe out, twist right. Breathe in, come center, lift a little taller. Breathe out, twist left. Inhale, center, lift a little taller. Let's go for 4 more. And just be honest with yourself. Yeah, find your edge. If it doesn't look like what I'm doing exactly, that's totally fine. See how far you can go without moving other parts of your body. We are stabilizing the lower half of the body as we twist through the trunk. Last one. And bring it through center. Okay, so we're going to do 1 more seated exercise. This is called our saw. So we'll stay in the same position, hands behind the head. We're basically putting together 2 moves we've already worked on, the twist and then the flexion. So first we'll twist right without the hips moving. Low back stays really tall, but the chest is going to dive up and over your waist. Then restack the spine and come back to center. Okay, so hips don't move as we rotate over to the left, and then the low back doesn't move as we pull up through the core and we dive up and over to the left. Lifting up, untwisting. So we'll smooth it out a little bit. Twist right, dive up and over. Think of your navel lifting towards your sternum. Lift, unwind. You should feel like a stretch in your back. Twist, lift to dive. Undive, untwist. 1 more each way. Rotate right, lift tall, dive over. Be careful of pushing your head down here. We definitely don't want that. Push the head into the hands instead. Lift, unwind. Last one. Breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out, and release. Good work. That is just a great way to warm your spine up and create a lot of core stability and hip stability. So we'll be taking this down to the mat, and let's start with some bridging. So we're going to get into the lower half a little bit more, the legs. Now the blanket is going to be behind your back. It will be on your shoulder blades. It will not touch your neck. So this is where your neck starts. That's your C7, the bottom of the cervical spine. The blanket's going below there. So it won't touch this area of your neck or your head. So lay down on your back and place the blanket where I had just kind of told you, so that the head is flush against the floor. The neck has a lift. So this is what we're using the blanket for, to give the neck that natural curve. So you want to make sure when you're doing your bridging exercises that your neck has a gap between your floor and your body. If you don't have that gap here at all, even with the blanket, then you're going to need another blanket. That means your cervical spine is a little flat, and we want the cervical spine to have this curve. Just grab another blanket, and we're gonna get into it. So we have the natural curve in the neck, and then we have the natural curve in the low back. So those are our lordotic curves. Those are the curves that move into the body, and we want to embrace those curves. We want to keep those curves. That's what creates a healthy, healthy spine. Feet are planted hips distance and parallel. Keeping the curve in your neck and your low back, press down into your feet and lift your hips up into a bridge. We still have a natural curve in our low back and our neck because we're not lifted so high up that our chin and our chest compress into each other. So your chest should still be on the blanket beneath your back. And then inhale to lower your hips back down. So this is a lot of leg and back strength here. So push into your feet. Push into the floor to lift the hips. And then inhale to lower the hips down. So let's do a couple more of those. So I just want you to think of lifting and lowering your back without moving or changing the shape of the back. So no change in the shape of the back. You're simply pushing into your feet, and that's lifting your back up. And then you're slowly releasing pressure of pushing into the floor and lowering your back down. Okay, this is going to strengthen your thighs, the back of your legs, your glutes, and your spine, your spinal erector muscles. Hopefully, this feels good on your neck because we've created that natural curve, and hopefully it's keeping some of the tension or weight more in the chest and the upper back and not putting it on the neck and the head. So if you have neck sensitivity, this is a good one to try. Okay, let's do 3 more. Breathe out to lift. Breathe in to lower. I know they're burning. Last 2, and we're gonna make our way into some core. All right, and then 1 more right here. Breathe out to lift. And breathe in to lower. Good work, guys. Okay, so let's move into the abs. So just gently sit up and let's move the blanket down. So the blanket's now going to go under our low back. You know how we had that natural curve in the back? The blanket is gonna fill that natural curve up. So you can lay down in kind of like that bridge position again. Lift your hips and slide the blanket so your butt and your low back are on the blanket. Not too high up, so not all the way to the mid-back. So what this should do is it should feel like the blanket is filling up that arched area. Usually in core work, people complain about either their hip flexors or their low back being sensitive. So hopefully the blanket is gonna help support your low back. So 2 things here. 1, if we move into this and it's still too much, try to elevate the blanket. So more blankets or more folds. 2, yes, we have the blanket, but we still also need to scoop the pelvis. So you still have to do some work. You can't just rely only on the prop. So scooping the pelvis should feel like the hip bones, you can find your hip bones with your hands, are coming up towards your chest. So grab your hip bones and pull them to you. And then you're going to try to hold that position and not change it. So no arch in the back. That low back is down, pelvis is scooped, abs are braced like I'm about to jump at you. And then bring your legs slowly to tabletop. So feeling like your back is not arched at all. So we want to continue to have that scoop and that blanket support. We'll inhale, dip the right toe down, and exhale to lift, and then we'll switch. Inhale, dip the left toe down, and exhale to switch. Okay, so it's up to you how low you go. But it's also, the most important thing is that when you go down, your hips don't move with you. So if this is happening, take a step back and pause, scoop your hips and do not move your hips. Move your leg by itself. So the leg is moving from the hip socket, but not from the hips moving. Okay, breathe in to lower, breathe out to lift. So my stomach is braced and my rib cage is dropping down. So it's a contraction you have to find in your body. Maybe if that's hard for you, take your hands and try to wrap your hands around your ribs and gently push them into the floor and see if you can hold that connection. Giving yourself a tactile cue is usually helpful. Okay, last two. Good work, guys. Breathe in and breathe out. Last one. Breathe in and breathe out. Good work. Bend the knees, plant the feet down. We're going to go into upper body curls. So this pelvic scoop we have found where the low back is flat, we're going to maintain that. Now we'll take the hands behind the head. Your low back does not have the arch. And then I want you to focus on your head not lifting you up. So what's going to lift you up is your upper back and your chest. So this is what I don't want you to do. Push your head forward with your hands. That's not good. That's not going to feel good on your neck. That's bad for it. Okay? The other thing I don't want you to do is lead with your head. Okay? So lift your head up 1 inch and then rest the head into the hands. So just do that a couple times. Lift your head up like it's leaving your hands. Don't touch the floor and just rest your head back. So catch the weight of your head in your hands. Do that one more time. Lift your head up. It should feel like your neck is straining a little bit. And then let the head just plop back. Catch it in your hands. So you should start to feel the idea of holding the head. There should be weight in the hands right here. So we're just hovering 1 inch off the ground. The head has no weight to it. My arms are totally holding it. From here, lift your upper back up and then lower down. Lift the shoulder blades off the ground and then lower down. Okay, breathe out to lift. Breathe in to lower. Now notice that where my head is has not changed. The only reason my head is going up is because I'm lifting my chest, but I'm not moving my head at all. Yeah, let's do 2 more. Lift the chest, lower the chest. Last one. Lift the chest, lower the chest, and take a rest. Good work. I know that is a lot to think about, but all of these little things are going to help you get stronger without any pain, and that is the goal. Injury-free strength. Yeah? So let's take a little stretch. You deserve it. You can just keep the towel there to protect the low back. Reach your right leg up and hold the back of the leg in the hands. Let's just flex the foot. So your heel is moving up, toes are moving down. This is for the hamstrings. Take a couple deep breaths in. If it's really tight, you can keep your knee more bent. If it's painful, then you want to maybe hold a strap around your foot or a belt around your foot and give yourself more space because you don't want to be pain. But know the difference between a little discomfort and pain. And then let's release that right leg and we'll take it to the left. So left leg up, hold the back of the leg with the hands and just take a big stretch. Flex your foot if that feels good. And then you make any adjustments for your body that work best for you. Good, and then we'll just gently release. Take your arms out to a nice wide T. This is great for the posture, just letting the fronts of the shoulders spread out. And step your feet as wide as the mat. And now we'll knock the knees over to the right. And then through center, knock your knees over to your left. So we're releasing the low back from some of that core work that we did. This will also give us a gentle stretch in the hip flexors. Just moving right and moving left. Good, 1 more each way. Gently massaging your back into the ground. Bring it to center and just let's roll it over to the right. Press yourself up to a seat. You guys did amazing. I hope that this class was insightful for you and helpful for you to do maybe some of Pilates exercises that you haven't been able to do without pain before, or they were just more accessible. So let me know in the comments how the class went for you. My name's Lindsay Bushman. This is my YouTube channel, Pilates On Demand. I'd really appreciate if you would subscribe. It just helps support me so I can make more content for you. And I will see you guys on the next workout. Bye guys.